lovely people, Nina here. So this week I decided to do a bit of library reading, and I guess this week and part of last week too, I did a bit of library book reading because I'm trying to get caught up on my reading goal. My reading goal for 2025 is to read 75 books, and right now I think like 9 behind. If I don't reach the goal, that's fine. It's just like an arbitrary goal that I set for myself. But my goal is to get to 75 books. I'm 9 behind right now. So to get myself caught up a little bit, I've temporarily paused my writing. If you don't know, I'm doing the writing challenge, which is my video last week of doing 1,667 words a day. A little behind on that because I decided to read and get caught up on my reading goal. Or try to. I'm still 9 books behind, which is so many. But to get caught up, I'm currently finishing Queen Charlotte, and it's really good so far. I literally have like a few chapters left. But then from the library, I've done like a lot of library reading, and we love the library and just to be able to check out books whenever. And that way too you can support your library and then just do like a low buy or no buy for the rest of the year. So I checked out a few books from the library and I've been reading them over the past few weeks, and I thought I would talk about them in today's video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Because these are library books, I don't have them physically like with me. But I'll put them on the screen like here or somewhere next to me so you can see like the picture of them. But I don't have them because I've returned them because they're library books. The first one I got was The Orange and Other Selected Poems by Wendy Cope. I think that's how you say it. This one is really good. It's really sad. Her poem, The Orange, is like very viral, I feel like, on the internet and just like in general. A lot of people have it. I've seen like people who get tattoos of it, and it's a very beautiful poem. I really loved her book of poetry. It made me sad. She has one about, I think it's loneliness. I'll put it, maybe I'll link it down below if I can find like a digital copy of it. I'm sure it's somewhere. Maybe on like Poetry Foundation or one of those places. But I'll put it down below, or maybe even on the screen if I can find it. And you can read it because I absolutely loved it. And it's like a poem about just like where she's like just okay with being home. And I just, her whole book of poetry is just so beautiful, and her writing style is just gorgeous and just relatable. And so I read / listened to, I also listened to that on audiobook, and I used Hoopla for that, which is an app kind of like Libby. Through different libraries have different like resources. My current library that I'm using has Hoopla as well as Libby, and it's a place where you can check out books and movies and music, and it's amazing. So I got that from Hoopla, and I really loved it. I want to read it again before it returns, because I have it, since I have it digitally, it returns on December 1st, I believe. So I might read that again just because it's really good. And it also made me want to buy a physical copy of it, so I might do that. The next one that I read / listened to was Dog Songs / read was Dog Songs. And that's Mary Oliver. If you don't know, Mary Oliver is my favorite poet. And this one had me crying actual tears as I was reading it. It's a whole bunch of lovely, beautiful poetry about dogs in general, and then her dog, and the companionship that you get from dogs, and how dogs are just like the best. And she really does an amazing job. I just love her writing style, and it's like one of the reasons that she's my favorite poet. But she does an amazing job of capturing the like essence and like energy of a dog through her writing. And as someone who has dogs, I loved it, and I'm gonna have to purchase this one. I like got them from the library, and I was like, with this one and the Orange and other selected poems, I got them both, and I was like, these are ones I'm going to need to buy because I will be reading these again, and I want to have copies of them. So at some point, my library has me to think, because I have to purchase them. I have to have physical copies. So maybe I'll look for used copies. I feel like these have been out for a while, so I feel like I might be able to find used copies somewhere. So maybe I'll try that. But yeah, I read those 2 books of poetry, The Orange and Other Selected Poems, and then Dog Songs, and they're both, I would highly recommend. The writing in them is so beautiful, and it's just so like relatable to like human beings and just the human experience, and then dogs, and just surrounding yourself with like the companionship of animals, and it's just amazing. So I really loved both of those. 10 out of 10 would recommend. The next ones I read because there's a creator on here named Aya, I think is how you say it. Her account is Aya's Cottage, and she was reading Garlic and the Witch, or was she reading Garlic and the Vampire? One of the two. They're graphic novels. One is called Garlic and the Witch, and the other one is called Garlic and the Vampire. They're both by Bree Paulson. They're so good. Oh my gosh, I, again, cried. I cried at both of these because they're both so cute. The first one is Garlic and the Vampire, and it's a literal graphic novel story about vegetables who were brought to life by this witch, and they live in this like magical town, and it follows this little tiny vegetable named Garlic, and all the vegetables, their job is to, like, they work in a vegetable garden, and they work at a farmer's market, which is like hilarious, as the vegetables, and they work for the witch, and the witch is just like a wonderful human being and helps people around the town. And there's a vampire, they find out, that's living in a castle like far away, and so they send Garlic to go see like if there's a vampire living there, and to tell the vampire to leave because they don't want him to scare the town. This whole thing, a whole adventure unravels, and it's this story about this little tiny Garlic who has to be brave and go talk to the vampire, and I will not spoil it, but it's just so cute. And the artwork in this is simply beautiful, and I love it. All of the graphic novel like designs that she did were just like amazing, so I absolutely loved it. I read Garlic and the Vampire, and then there's a second one called Garlic and the Witch, and it's so cute. It's the same like setting, so it's the witch and her vegetables, and you find out that it starts with like the origin story of how the witch made these magical vegetables like talk, and how she like humanized them, I guess, and how they grew and became into these magical creatures, and the backstory of the witch. And then this story is about Garlic becoming like afraid because she's like slowly sensing that she's turning into a human, and the plot of this is that the vegetables eventually will turn into humans, so they like don't stay vegetables forever. They like keep growing and growing and growing and growing into people, and so they'll be like normal people working at this farmer's market that were once vegetables. It's magical. It's a great like fantasy book. I did kind of a bad job explaining it, but trust me, they're so cute, and the artwork in them is so well done and illustrated. I really loved both of these. And again, I was like, do I need to purchase them? Like, should I? I'm thinking I might have to. Because I read them both, again, digitally. I checked these out from Libby. on the library, and I read them both digitally, and I was like, I think I need to have this as a physical book because I love, love, love graphic novels. I love the like artwork in them. I love how they tell a story through images as well as text, and I just have like a deep appreciation for a graphic novel, and so I really, really loved them, and they were just so cute and so like warm and kind of have like fuzzy feeling in a time where there's a lot of sad happening in the world. These were just like very comforting, and so I felt like I needed that like comforting type of story, and these were very cute. The title of the next one that I read was The Firelight Apprentice, also by Brie Paulson. This is I think her newest one maybe, and it's about two sisters, and the one sister is a magician and she has like magical powers, and it's a story about magicians, and it's kind of sad because it talks about how they lost their mom to this magician's like war thing that happened, and the dad, his job is creating light bulbs and making light bulbs, and it makes him really sick, and so he's trying to run this shop, his light bulb shop, while becoming sick, and his sisters try to help him, and they're trying to save money for the youngest sister to have like an apprenticeship and have like be taken under the wing by another magician so that she can control her magic and control her powers, so she can grow up and be like her mom was a magical powerful magician. And then it just follows the adventure. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but it's really good and it's sad, and it made me like teary and heartfelt because the story is really sweet but it's also really sad. And again, it has the same like magical element like Garlic and the Witch, but this is magicians and magician magic, and I loved it. I thought it was so cute. I finished it today actually. I finished it this morning, and it was so good. And so yeah, I really loved it. Again, the graphics and illustrations were beautifully drawn. The story was amazing to follow, and I was like, do I need to own this? I feel like I might, so I might also try to locate that one. Yeah, so those are the books I read this week. All five, I had a count, I was like, all five are from the library. We love the library. I love that I had access to this, and we need to continue to fight for funding for our libraries because the White House and the president have decided to cut all of the funding for the libraries, so I will put information down below of where you can help support your local library and just the ALA and libraries in general. And we need to continue to use our libraries and get a library card because there's so many amazing things you can get at the library, and I really would suggest and request that you go and visit your library, your local library this week, because they're amazing places, and we are so, so lucky to have free services that offer us books and movies and music and all kinds of different things. So yeah, I love the library. I loved all of these books that I read this week thanks to the library, and yeah, that is all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely Friday and a lovely rest of your weekend. As always, free Palestine. I love you all, and I will see you next week. Bye!